Hello and welcome to another episode here on my channel. My name is ChaosMole, and today I will show you the basics of the PvP in Lost Ark. So you have probably a lot of questions. How do I do PvP? How do I get into competitive matches? How do I get my loot? And those are all the things we are answering here today. So first things first, when can you jump into PvP? Well, in the Western version, you can actually jump into PvP with level 25. Most people will go into PvP at level 50 though, and because they want to finish the leveling process, right? But you could technically go in there with level 25, and it would work because the PvP in Lost Ark is completely equalized. What does that mean? Well, that means that everything is on the same level. Whatever you achieve in PvE does not matter in PvP. Equipment, stats, skill points, does not matter. You are getting the same equipment, you are getting the same points, and the only thing which matters in PvP is your skill. So, with that said, where do you find the PvP? Well, you can go into a city and then opening up the board, or you can just click on this icon here underneath your map, the mausoleum, and then the PvP interface will open up. As you can see, you have a lot of choices here. We will focus today on the team deathmatch in Lost Ark. Why? Because this is the official PvP game mode. This is also where you will do your competitive matches, which started today. If you're wondering like, man, you have a low MMR. Yeah, I just started a few hours ago. I had only like 20 matches in there or something like that. So yeah, don't look too much at this yet. But before you can even do competitive matches, because this will be not available to you, you have to reach tier 1 in PvP. So that means you have to run team death matches. And then every time you win or you lose, you are getting more points. You start at rank 20 and then you are going down to tier 1. And if you have reached tier 1, you can go into the competitive matches. So as long as you haven't reached that, you cannot utilize it. And how long does that take? Well, it depends, between 15 and 20 games. It really comes down to how often you win, how often you lose, because then you are getting different amount of points for the bar to fill. So it really depends, right? But around 15 to 20 rounds before you can start your competitive matches. I know there are also co-op battles here. It's like a battleground. If you have played other MMOs, it's like a battleground mode, but they are only available at specific days and specific times. And then, of course, you can do custom modes if you want to. But you don't want to jump into a team deathmatch. It's grayed out. What's going on there? This is because you haven't set up your book of coordination. This is what you were doing here. You can choose a specific set. And this is my book of coordination right here. And you have to click on this button. And then the book of coordination opens up. I know this is overwhelming. Relax. You only have to do this once. And it's relatively simple if you understand what's going on here. So this is the point where you should really consider to check out a class guide for PvP. Because every class is a little bit different, especially when it comes to the abilities you are taking with you. But really, look up a class guide. We will go through the basics now. First things first, you have to redistribute your stat points. You have 1,000 in total. And as you can see, the max is 750 in one of the stats. And then, well, you have to distribute them. So this is pretty much for every class. You're putting 750 points into swiftness. Why? Because swiftness is super important. If you don't know what it does, you can check it out right here. But swiftness is for movement speed, skilled cooldown, and attack speed. And that is super important for PvP. Using your abilities more often, using your abilities faster, and more importantly, run faster because you want to stick to an enemy or you want to run away from an enemy. And the moment they have just a little bit of like more speed than you have, you are at a disadvantage. You will get decimated. So that's the last thing you want. And this is why every class is putting 750 points into swiftness. Because you want to get away from the enemy or you want to stick to them, depending on what you are playing. Now, the second point here, it's a bit different from class to class, especially if you are playing a supporter. Again, please check out the class guide, please. But most DPS classes will now put 250 or 249 points into Domination. And Domination is not normally a stat you're using in PvE, but it's very interesting for PvP, because the moment you are in any shape of crowd control in PvP, you would do more damage to the enemy. So when they are like trapped in a slow, in a stun, in a like push up into the air, right? The moment you are attacking them, where they are in this state, you would do massive more damage. So this is why Domination is like one of the second most important points in PvP. But wait, you have 1 point in crit. Yeah, that's enough for me. I want to at least crit now and then. I don't want to be it like a consistent thing for my class. But again, please check out the class guide. Some classes need more crit. Some classes don't use crit at all for various reasons, so please check that out. Then you have, after you distributed your points, you can click on services, and then you can choose the skills you want to get with you. And you always have 340 skill points at your disposal. Always. You cannot increase that, and everyone has 340 points. Right? So you can choose what you want to take with you. Again, please check out the class guide. And you can also have an ultimate with you. Please don't be me. It is really, really awkward when you are jumping into an arena match, you hammer your ultimate, and nothing happens. Why? Because you still need the chaos shards. You know, those things. The awakening chaos shards you can just buy in the city at a general merchant, right? You can just buy them super cheap, and you still use them in your PvP matches. And if you don't have them, your ultimate doesn't work. It becomes really awkward, believe me. So don't do that. But you have your first PvP match, and you win or you lost. Cool. So you probably have a few questions. Did I play against another pre-made team? Yes, it can happen. Most of the time it doesn't, but it can happen that you are actually like running into a pre-made team in team deathmatch. The normal match. The moment you are jumping into the competitive matches, when you reach tier 1 in your ranking, you cannot play in a pre-made team. You can see it right here. You can only run into random groups. So keep that in mind. That is pretty important to know, because I've already seen some people running around and be like, oh man, I'm losing in competitive PvP all the time because I'm against a pre-made group. It's completely unfair. It's like, no, you are not playing against a pre-made group. But you have just won or lost. And your question is, well, what do I get from that? Well, let's have a look first at the normal stuff. When you are winning a round, and let me go to the exchange merchant here. When you win or lose, you get coins of courage, even in a normal match. You don't have to do ranked matches for this. But even in a normal match, you will get coins of courages. And as you can see, you can get to the exchange guy, which is at least a Vern. It's right here. It's next to the Proving Ground entry board. There's always an NPC there. And we will take a look at that in just a few. But here are the exchange materials you need for PvE. And you also might wonder, there's some other grades necessary? how do I get those? Like, I'm tier 1, okay, but how do I get the 4th limit? How do I get the 6th limit? Like, how does that work? And it's pretty simple. When you do PvP, you will also get some rank points. And then at the end of I think at the end of the week, the rank points will calculate what you are at right now. Like if you have reached the 4th limit, 8th limit, like this is something you slowly build over time, right? Like this is something you are slowly getting. So it's not something which is, which you will lose when you lose matches, right? It's not an MMR, it's its own system. And you will get that by the end of the week. It gets calculated by the end of the week. And then you can just go here, and at some point you will unlock the 4th limit, the 6th limit, and so on and so forth. Right? So you don't just have to collect the coin of courages. You have to continue to play after you reach tier 1 to get the PvP points. And then by the end of the week, I think it is the end of the week, might be the end of the day. Please let me know in the comments if they changed it. And then you will get the things you need to actually buy more in the shop. The same goes for the honor rewards. Like if you want to get the legendary mount here, then you have to reach the 1st limit or the extreme ranking. Again, this has nothing to do with the competitive ranking, to make that absolutely clear. Because the competitive ranking is working very differently, and we will take a look at that. Like you can see the rankings right here, right? And then you can also see the rewards. And the rewards you are getting from playing ranked is bound to your rank directly. So you're starting in bronze, then you are going up to silver, then you have gold, then you have platinum, diamond, master, and grandmaster. And every time you can see you are getting a special box if you reach that, right? So again, this has nothing to do with the whole 1st limit or 4th limit or whatever, right? So those are two different things. I know it looks a bit complicated, but when you have seen it once in action, you will get pretty quickly the hang of it. But that's pretty much it. Like, you have to set up your PvP skill. This would probably take like a few minutes, and I know this can be very overwhelming, but when you have a class guide and you're doing that, then you should be fine here, right? And then afterwards it's just easy going. But this concludes our first PvP guide. We'll do more PvP guides in the future where I go a little bit more into the details of what to look out for and how to improve your gameplay, because it's really in depth. Like, PvP is a very different beast from what you know from the PvE side of Lost Ark. So that will come soon. But with that said, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video and you are on your way out, I would appreciate if you leave a like. If you're new to the channel, you want to see daily gaming news, reaction videos to game announcement, trailers, gameplay and all that. And also if you want to get tips and tricks for new games, like a lot of Lost Ark right now, because I'm really enjoying the game and I've been playing it for years. You came also to the right channel, and I would appreciate if you might consider to subscribe. It would help me out a great deal. And if you ever want to catch me live, you can actually find me from Monday to Friday, starting at 9 AM ET, which is 2 PM UK time and 3 PM Central European time, over at trovo.live/ChaosMole. And we're doing right now some PvP season. Like, I streamed the whole matches today. We're also playing like a lot of other games if you want to check them out, and we talk about gaming news in the morning. So if you want to stop by and say hi, you're more than welcome to do so. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you next time. Stay safe.